Hey, howdy, my friend. I'm here with
Charlie,
and we are back. He is going to be helping me make
French toast.
And this is our third lesson in breakfast week. We are learning how to make 5 different breakfasts this week. We have done scrambled eggs and bacon in the oven. We have also done baked oatmeal. We made that yesterday. Delicious. And now we are doing French toast, and we have 2 more lessons this week. My hope here is that we did the first 2 weeks of our lessons, we did dinners and some lunches, and I'm hoping here to equip you and your kiddos with some easy to make breakfasts that they can make on their own. And I think I'm just going to sit back over here and watch him make this because he's pretty adept in the kitchen. And I'm just going to kind of talk him through it and talk you through it as well. So cooking along with me, we are going to be making the French toast, and then I have some ideas I want to share with taking the French toast from the skillet into or onto your plate when you are going to go and serve it. For the sake of this video and our cameras that we have here, we are going to make this in a skillet. If you have an electric griddle, I'll talk to you about those options as well. And tell us who's cooking. Tell me who's cooking with us live today or who's watching and can make this. French toast is fairly quick, so this video might be a little bit shorter than some of the other lessons that we have done. But are you ready to get started?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the first thing that we need to do with French toast is set up our stations, if you will. So we need to get the egg and milk mixture put together. We need to get our bread set out. And then we can heat the skillet or the griddle, depending on which one you're using, whether it's electric griddle or griddle on your stovetop. So we want to get everything ready, get our stations ready, and then we will heat up, start frying and cooking up our French bread. Before we jump in, I need to share with you my disclaimers. If you've seen any of our other cooking lessons, you already know what I'm going to say, so bear with me a sec. Parents, this is kids learning how to cook. So I want you to please let your kiddos cook. If they are younger or you see that they're kind of moving into a situation that might be slightly dangerous, please step in and help them. We are working with a hot skillet today. Some of our lessons is we're working with raw meat or knives and the oven. So be right there for younger kiddos. But older kiddos, Charlie's almost 13. Oh boy, okay, almost have 2 teenagers in the house. Send help. So if you're working with an older kiddo, just kind of keep an eye on them and don't get in their way. Let them do this work, let them make the mess, let them learn. And if you're a parent, if I try and get in your way, what do?
Politely tell you to stop.
Politely tell me to get out of the way. All right. This is learning. This could get messy. You might need to make this a couple times before you get really good at it, but I just wanted to share those disclaimers before we jump in. So I am going to need to adjust this camera, so bear with me. Charlie, I want you to start cracking eggs. You can see my cutting board's too much here. What we're going to do is we're going to crack some eggs. There we go. That's better. We are going to crack eggs into... Okay, timeouts first. Should we leave a skillet like this?
No.
Okay, if you look in the top corner of your screen where my hand is, right here, the handle is sticking straight out into the kitchen. This is a big safety no-no. So if you're going to spin your skillet, you need to spin it all the way so that nobody knocks it down and knocks off a hot pan and burns themselves, okay? So food safety tip there for you. If you are using a hot griddle that's going to be on the countertop, be sure to let people know in your family that it's warming up and hot, okay? Make sure that you communicate that with your people. You don't want any younger siblings or even your mom or dad coming in and accidentally touching it and burning themselves. So anytime you are working with a hot skillet, make sure that you are mindful of that. All right, so cracking eggs. We learned this in the last 2 lessons, and we're going to learn it again in this lesson and on Friday. But when we crack an egg, a lot of times, especially younger kiddos, it's easier to crack an egg on the side of the bowl. But what that usually does, or it can do, the risk is higher, for little tiny pieces of eggs to be created when you crack it, and then those little pieces of egg fall into the bowl with the eggs, and we don't want that to happen. So I recommend cracking your egg on a flat surface. So that could be the counter, or that could be the cutting board, whichever is there. But cracking it on a flat surface creates a little bit cleaner break, and then reduces the potential for those eggs to drop into the bowl with the other ingredients. So Charlie, why don't you go ahead and crack, let's see, for the sake of the video, I don't know that we'll do a full batch of French, or should we make French toast for everybody for a snack? What do you think?
Everybody.
We should make it for everybody? All right, why don't we go ahead then and start with 4 eggs. We'll see how far we can stretch the sandwich bread with 4 eggs. So we're going to do, so crack 4 eggs into this bowl, please. And then we're going to add 2 other ingredients. Angela, good morning. Good morning to you. This is great timing for you. We're making breakfast in the afternoon here in Texas. I love it. Hi, Molly. Virginia, glad y'all are here. So we're going to do 4 eggs and 1 cup of milk. And then we're also going to add in a little cinnamon and vanilla. And this is where you can have a little bit of fun with the flavors. You want to add any flavors to this sort of egg and milk coating, if you will. This egg and milk is going to go on the outsides of the bread. Ooh, that's lovely. What is happening? Sorry. So let's measure next a cup of milk. Can you grab the milk? Let's measure a cup of milk, and then we will add a teaspoon of vanilla and a teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay. Now, vanilla is a wet ingredient and cinnamon is a dry ingredient. So I would do the dry ingredient first because we're going to use the same measuring spoon because all the other ones are still being cleaned from yesterday. So we just need a teaspoon, so slide that up. So do a teaspoon of cinnamon. That might fit in there, it might not. Will it fit? Oh, will this fit into the jar? Yeah. Dip it in the jar and then scoop out a full teaspoon and then, and then add a teaspoon of cinnamon. Oh my gosh, vanilla. I was looking at the cinnamon in the video thinking vanilla and it came out cinnamon. So add the teaspoon of vanilla. And again, this is where you can have a lot of fun with these spices. So measure that over the bowl. If a little extra drop spills in, that's okay. That's fine. This is going to be super vanilla-y. That's okay. You could do almond extract instead of vanilla extract. You could do almond extract and vanilla extract. We have a French toast recipe where you use mashed raspberries plus almonds mixed in here. The raspberries do have a little bit of texture to them, but it's really delicious. You could also add canned pumpkin. Pumpkin pie French toast is actually one of the highest trafficked recipes on the $5 Dinners website. So that always gets really popular in the fall. So you could add canned pumpkin and pumpkin pie spice in here with the batter. The canned pumpkin does make this batter a little bit thicker. So it takes a little bit longer for the bread to cook through. But those are some ideas to shake up the flavor a little bit. So why don't you go ahead, Charlie, and whisk this up. Where did the whisk go? Here you go. And then we'll get the bread out of the, we'll get 8 slices of bread. We'll just make 8 for the sake of the video. In this skillet, we could probably do 3 at a time. Now, if you watched our scrambled egg videos, you know that, or lesson from the other day, you know that you want to aerate the eggs. In this case, we do not need any extra air in this sort of egg mixture. This is what we're dipping the bread into So it does not need to be aerated. So he's just basically whisking it together to combine it. So there's, you know, a cinnamon on each piece, a little bit of the vanilla pop flavor onto each of the pieces of bread that we're going to do. All right, that looks good, bud.
It's chunky.
The cinnamon's a little chunky. That's okay. You could try and whisk it real quick to break it up, but I think it's okay. Nothing wrong with a chunk of cinnamon in that bite you're gonna have. It smells great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of smells like cinnamon rolls.
It smells like cinnamon.
Well, that's why it smells like cinnamon rolls. All right, why don't you take out a couple pieces of bread next, and then we'll be ready to warm up our skillet or our griddle.
Do we need this again?
We do not need the whisk again, so you could throw that into the sink. Okay, so get out, let's do 8 slices of bread. All right, if you're just joining us, we are making French toast. See, look at how nicely that cinnamon is in there now. It's going to coat each piece. We're making French toast. We are using sandwich bread because that's the only bread that we have right now in our house. And a French loaf bread is really fantastic. You can cut the slices a little bit thicker. I like to do about a 1/2 inch if I'm using a large French loaf. Do like a 1/2 inch piece of bread. It makes for a really delicious French toast. There's other thicker bread options that you could explore in the bakery, but I think for the sake of affordability and just quick and easy, sandwich bread works just as well. Okay, so we have those things ready, and we are now going to warm up our skillet. We are doing a skillet because our electric griddle is not here. It's at our other house. We're in a rental house, and so we don't have our electric skillet here. So that's why we're going to use this skillet. So the first thing we need to do, you could use a cooking spray. I tend to use a cooking spray, a nonstick cooking spray when I'm doing the griddle because it's larger surface area. It's just quick to spray. But we are going to add a little bit of butter to this skillet, and then we'll turn the heat on to medium-high. You want it to be a little bit of a high heat so that you get that nice brown color on your bread. Get it nice and almost, I want to say crispy. I don't feel like that's the right word, but the higher heat will make it crispy and just give it that little edge of crunch that we're going to be looking for with this French toast. So we are going to let this butter melt. Parents, this is the time, especially if you're working with a younger kiddo, make sure that they're being safe around the hot skillet. Charlie's doing, I was actually about to say that, and he just did it. He's going to kind of move this around to get the whole surface. He's just using a knife to get the whole surface coated with that butter. French toast is easy to make dairy-free as well. You can just use a rice milk or an almond milk or a coconut milk for your egg base, and then just an oil or a dairy-free margarine for coating the pan is an option. Also, I love to make a gluten-free version of this using a gluten-free sliced bread of some kind. I feel like gluten-free bread, when it's cooked and fried as a French toast or as a grilled cheese, it just makes it a little more palatable, if you will. So if you are gluten-free, this is, I think, French toast and grilled cheese is a really great way to use your gluten-free bread. It doesn't, because it softens up a little bit in just the way that it cooks and warms through. All right, so this butter is, if you listen, I don't know if you can hear it. If you listen right, you might be able to hear it, but it's starting to bubble. So now is the time when we know that it's warm because the butter is bubbling and it's making a teeny tiny crackle sound. So that means it is time to get the bread going in the skillet or on your griddle. So what you're going to do is you're going to dip both sides of the bread into the egg mixture and then place it into the skillet. Okay?
Just my hands?
Yep. I use my hands. If you wanted to use tongs or something, you could. All right, now hold it up carefully. Let any extra egg kind of drip off. There we go. Look at how perfectly cinnamonized that is. I think I just made up a word.
That's
So perfect. Cinnamonized, you guys. There's your vocabulary word of the day. Okay, now transfer that in. I can see the butter starting to brown. Oh, money shot right there. Okay, do 2 more pieces of bread. Let's see if we can get 3 in this skillet.
Oh, I put it in the middle.
It's okay. We can shift it around. Raise your hand if you think we should start a petition to add cinnamonized to the Webster Dictionary. So this is a little bit in the middle, and that's okay. I'm not going to move it yet because we want the egg part to kind of warm and fry up. So I'm not going to move it just yet. Go ahead, put it right here. And you want to get look at how perfect that is. If you want to add more cinnamon to your egg dish, you can. Go ahead, sprinkle a little bit more in, give it a little whisk. See how this one has so much, this amazing cinnamon, and this one is a little less just because it got, so Charlie's going to add a little bit more and whisk that in. So I guess you do need the whisk again after all, huh? All right, while he's doing that, I'm going to check this, and this looks like it's ready to go. Look at how nicely browned this is. I'm going to shift our camera. Bear with me. That way you can see a little better. Sorry, guys. On the stove top. I think we're going to be able to fit 1 more in here, so get ready. Get ready, please. And I'm helping them out. You're going to need a flat spatula. If you need to check, just lift it up slightly and check and watch while you're flipping. I was not watching where I was flipping. Okay, I need you to grab another bread and throw it in there. We will probably need another bit of butter before we do our next round. I have with me right here a spatula for flipping. It only takes about 2 minutes, maybe 3. It depends on the heat of your skillet to get that egg cooked through. You want to get some more ready as soon as I take, or you want to take these off? This is your job. I'm out of here. See ya.
Where do I put them?
Right here. Have a plate waiting nearby. We have a plate right here. So you can stack them in whatever way you prefer. All right, why don't you add just another touch of butter real quick.
Oh, that's good.
Quick touch of butter. Quick. Hot skillet. We don't want it to overheat. I can already see a little bit of the butter browning. It's hard for you to see, I think, through the camera. We're going to spread that around real quick, and then we'll add 2 more slices of bread. Probably want to flip that other piece too, bud. Okay? So why don't you flip and then add 2 more real quick. Oh, snack time.
Oh, it's on the side.
That's okay. Let it, yeah, that's probably good. Charlie got it a little bit on the edge. She's just pressing it down so that it's all flat on the bottom of the skillet. If you do get any pieces like this that don't have enough cinnamon, as long as you're using the cinnamon with the holes, you could just sprinkle a little on like that. Okay? Just give it that extra pop. And of course you can add in more, but you're also going to need to be flipping these and moving these quickly, so don't get distracted. Don't forget you've got food in a hot skillet. All right. Smoking hot. So here's what we've got so far. We've done 3 so far, so let's do 3 more. And it looks like this is pretty dry over here. So again, if you need to add any more butter, just add a little sliverful at a time. Even though this is a non-stick skillet, you want to make sure that your French toast has a nice extra creaminess from the butter, and it won't stick. All right, those are probably ready to flip.
No, I'm missing cinnamon.
Oh, that side is missing cinnamon. That's okay. I have another tip for you coming up as we get ready to eat these. I want to share some ideas of things you could add to the tops. If you need to adjust the heat in your skillet, now would be a good time to do it. I think we adjusted the heat down and this one didn't cook quite as fast, but this one looks okay. So I moved ours back up to 7. I know every stovetop is a little bit different, but 7 would be medium high on this stovetop. So I might, Charlie, because this one is still a little bit softer, you might want to flip that one again and then be ready to throw in, how many more pieces? We could probably do 3 more. Let's do one more round with 3 more pieces. And then we'll talk about ways to serve your French toast. Looking good. All right, let's flip that one more time, and then you can. It's getting a little sizzle. I think we're going to need a little bit more butter. Once again, more butter. All the butter. Don't be shy with the butter. We have here linked on the video. We have 2 recipes. One is for the cinnamon French toast, which is essentially what we're making here, using sandwich bread. In that recipe, it calls for sliced French loaf, but you could use sandwich as well. Okay, but this is ready for more butter.
Where?
Take that bread out and then add the butter. I'm going to turn the heat down again because this is starting to smoke a little bit. All right, add that butter, and then we're going to do all 3 of those together. You might even be able to see the brown butter that's happening. That's totally fine. You just don't want it to burn. All right, can you do those last 3 pieces real quick? See if we can get those cozy all in there together. So, Charlie, which do you prefer for your French toast? Do you like it with powdered sugar or syrup?
Both.
Both together? Of course. So that's a question you could answer in the comments. Let me know, let us know. Do you prefer powdered sugar and butter or syrup and butter on your French toast? Let me know what you think about that. Yeah, Charlie's like, nope, more cinnamon. Definitely need more cinnamon. Let me know in the comments, syrup or
Powdered sugar.
powdered sugar. All right, here's my tip. While we're waiting for those, we actually do not have any powdered sugar because we just don't. Sorry, I'm going to let that camera have a break for a sec. Here, set that blender right here. So let me show you, if you don't have any powdered sugar, let me show you what we can do to make powdered sugar. Okay, here we go. So I just did this right before we started. I added probably about a cup of white sugar, granulated regular baking white sugar, to, let me rephrase that, there's different versions of sugar. Granulated sugar that you would use to make like cookies. I added it about a cup to the blender, and then I just pulsed it probably 6 or 7 times with the pulse feature, and it makes a lovely powdered sugar that we will dust on in a minute, okay? So if you're at home and you don't have any powdered sugar, you can make powdered sugar in a food processor or a blender by doing that with regular sugar and just pulsing it to make it into more powdery, okay? So let's flip those. Oh, looking good. And then I'm going to show you, if you want to make French toast sticks, I'm going to show you how we do that here for you. So French toast sticks, you could use a knife but I prefer to use the pizza cutter. Especially great, it's got a little shield here if you've got little hands who are wanting to make, help you in the kitchen. I think that the pizza cutter is a great option for, my Austin, who's 7, who was with me cooking yesterday. He could use this pizza wheel and he wouldn't need to use a sharp knife. So if your kiddos don't have knife skills yet, this is a little bit of a safer option. Obviously supervised because this is sharp. So yeah, you want to just wheel on through that and make those into sticks. We're back. Sorry, no idea. I don't think I've seen an error message like that in a hot minute here with our live streaming program that we use, but I think we're still here. It looks to me like we're on the same video. We lost a few friends, but we're still here. So we're about done here. Let's flip these one more time, Charlie. Sorry about that. Ooh, nice and toasty. Ah, so good. All right. That guy got a little brown. That's totally fine. These look amazing. All right, so we are wrapping up our French toast cooking lesson. We learned about cracking eggs on a flat surface. We made up the word cinnamonize when adding cinnamon to the egg and milk mixture. All right, it looks like those guys are ready. Turn off the stove and transfer these to your plate. We also learned how to set up our stations to then warm up our skillet or griddle and grease it well. You might have to grease it in between making your, let's see if we can make room for that over here. In between making different batches. We also talked about using a pizza wheel as an easy alternative for kiddos to cut French toast sticks. I don't know. It's more fun to use pizza wheel, I think. You could probably use even just a butter knife, but I think the pizza wheel is a great one. We also talked about how to do powdered sugar. So let's do powdered sugar. Tends to be, it can be kind of clumpy. And so what we want to do, this is going to be my last tip for you before we end our lesson. What we want to do is, look at how beautiful these are. You guys give Charlie some love for making these beautiful French toasts. All right, so what we want to do when it's time to serve it is we want to add a little pad of butter, just a little half pad. These are still very warm, so this should melt quickly. Spread that out, or you could just kind of let it melt. Just sit here. Who wants to just sit here and watch this butter melt and drool? So spread that out a little bit. And then what we want to use is, this got some egg on it. Hang on, let me get switched to my other one. You want to use some kind of a sifter or a strainer to kind of break up the powdered sugar. So that is what we're going to do next. Spoon. I had a spoon. Where'd it go? We want to take this spoon. What I like to do is, this is the powdered sugar that we made. Okay, Charlie's going to try it. Okay, just put this over the plate. Put this, just lay the sugar in the strainer. Just lay it there. No, off the spoon, sorry. Lay it there, and it'll sift through a little bit. You can see it sifting through underneath. And then, now that this is all here, what you want to do is kind of pop the side of it and spread it out so that it evenly coats all of, look at him, he's like, get your hand off this, Mom. Look at that. Now do the other piece. It just evenly coats it very nicely when you do this with your sifter, okay? He's like, more sugar, please. Another thing that you can do to evenly coat, if you want a little bit more cinnamon, you could sprinkle the cinnamon through the sifter, and it just kind of evenly sifts it out. Okay, then we have this beautiful more sugar. Another idea would be to combine the powdered sugar and the cinnamon in a bowl and then sift it together, especially if you're doing a bigger batch like that. So, Charlie, I have a feeling you want to eat that right now.
Yeah.
So, if it's cooled down enough, you could just like, because it's got the powdered sugar and the cinnamon, you could just like roll it into a taco. Here, look up here. You could like roll it into a taco and have like a French toast taco. You could cut it into sticks and then add the, you like that? It's added so much sugar. If you, of course, wanted to do syrup that way, you could use a fork and a knife. You could roll it into a taco like this. You could add, another idea that you could do is if you didn't want to use powdered sugar or syrup, you could do like a strawberry jelly or jam and kind of line the middle of that and then roll the bread around the jelly. Wouldn't that be good, huh? I feel like we should try that. French toast sticks, dipping into a little serving dish of syrup would be really good too. So there's lots of fun ways that you can serve your French toast to yourself and to your people. So that is, did you learn something new today? Besides the word cinnamonized? So yeah, this is French toast. We want to equip you to make breakfast on your own. And now is the best time to be doing that. The next lesson is overnight granola. So we're going to prepare that. I'm actually going to prepare a batch right now so you can see what it looks like tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll prepare a batch, and then it is overnight granola. So when we make it tomorrow, you won't be able to eat it until Friday. Okay? So that is what we have coming up. Meanwhile, Charlie is going to be over here making himself another very well-coated piece of French toast. I hope this was helpful. Learning how to crack eggs, learning how to set up stations, learning how to add different flavors to your French toast, learning how to grill it, cook it on the skillet in the griddle. Quick tip on the griddle, I usually heat mine to 325. That's just our electric griddle. I know they're all a little bit different. Up to you. And then we also talked about how to add a little powdered sugar, how to make powdered sugar from regular granulated sugar, and other things that you could serve on top of your French toast. So that is it for today's kids cooking lesson. We'll be back tomorrow. Overnight grill. Can you hit me up with a high five? Is that cool? Cool. All right, friends. We'll see. He's like, I have like, what, another month before you're a teenager and things are all the way uncool? I mean, I'm trying to be really cool. Whatever. All right, bye. We'll see you guys. I'm losing it. We will see you guys for the next lesson, overnight granola. Have a good rest of your afternoon. See you soon.